Okay, it's been a while, but I thought I'd make an update on my Kratom use. It's very controversial. A lot more states are trying to criminalize it. Uh, I think there are problems with it at times for the knuckleheads who don't use it correctly, but I'm just an example of a 69-year-old man who, you know, has used it for 7+ years to get rid of my osteoarthritis pains. I used to wake up every morning, sore hands, they were stiff. Anything I would do, drive a car, play my guitar, my shoulder would hurt, radiate down, everything. And frankly, 5 years or so ago, I didn't want to go to work if I didn't have to, because I would be sore after doing normal chores and things around the house. Um, I'll throw in that since the last part 3, I guess, that I did this, I did go to a doctor because I felt some heart pains. At this point, I think it was more muscular than anything else, but they did a scan and they said, oh, your widowmaker's 55 to 65% clogged. My first reaction was, hey, how bad is that? Then I learned that, well, 70 and above, they're going to want to bring you in, get you a stent, and do things to you. But they tried to load me up on statins to lower the evil cholesterol, which would be another whole tape. But they said, be careful. All right. So I'm good at research, and I've researched things. Probably hardly a year later, I weaned myself off of statins because my research just disagrees with taking statins. Maybe somebody who's 80% blocked needs heavy duty help. With me, I started walking more, eating better. I really didn't change much. I take Kratom 5-6 times a week in the morning just with my orange juice. I'll explain that in a minute. But that's the only other health issue I've ever had. Other than since about my mid-40s, I've had the annoying osteoarthritis, which is an inflammatory thing. It probably runs in my family because other people have had it. But it might be that, along with my heart condition, it might be that I ate crap for the first 50 years of my life. I grew up on Swanson TV dinners and McDonald's and Hostess cupcakes, things like that. But to get back to Kratom, just to balance out how I feel now, Kratom 7+ years ago, I did all my research and I thought, all right, let me try this. Let me see what happens. Now in my first part 1, 2, and 3s, I explain a lot of the nuances and controversies about it, so I'll be quick here. But 7+ years later, I'm in fine shape. Knock on wood, I'm in fine shape. I take maybe 1 teaspoon of Kratom every morning in my orange juice. I very rarely, but sometimes I'll take some red Kratom because maybe I did some yard work and I've cut down on lifting heavy things and stuff, but I still get sore at times no matter what the Kratom does, which it helps tremendously, but it doesn't cure anything. So, I'll take different strains. I'll give a brief reminder about, how I do that and everything. But basically, if it wasn't for Kratom, I wouldn't be an active 69-year-old man. I walk 2-3 times a week. I walk average 2.5 miles, sometimes more or less. I'm lucky enough to have a nice state park nearby with nice trails and everything. But I have no side effects. I have no withdrawal. If I don't take it on the weekend or when I was having my little heart things, they go, oh, Monday morning come in for this test or whatever. I just wouldn't take it from like Friday then because I just didn't want to. I wanted to be tested with nothing in my system, so I didn't take anything of any kind. And my blood test, which would relate to my Kratom use, which is regular, my blood tests, dare I say, is wonderful, meaning I don't have any, maybe my triglycerides are a little bit high. I used to eat a lot of fried food. I don't anymore, but I have my weak moments where I want some chicken tenders or fried shrimp or something like that. So anyway, my Kratom use, again, is no problem. All these states and these people that don't understand the anecdotal research on it, and again, you can go back to my 1, 2, and 3 parts of this. There are research papers, I should say, trying to think how to say that, about Kratom and all the alkaloids in it and why it has kind of a thin relation, but it's related to opioids, because opioids have some of those same things in them and all that. But the people that are denigrating the proper use of Kratom are the people who, I'll go back to one of my first things, the knuckleheads of the world. The ones that think, oh, I take a teaspoon every day, so I'm going to take 10 teaspoons before I go out, and I'm going to feel great, and I'm going to feel... No, you won't. If I took 10 teaspoons of Kratom, I'd probably feel like nauseous and headachy, and it wouldn't do anything to me. It wouldn't get me high. I know all about getting high from the late 60s, early 70s. Luckily, I stopped and weaned myself off of that back then. I think I was smart enough to know not to do certain things from back then and everything. So, my analogy a lot of times to people on the street is that I don't drink coffee. I wish I did, because coffee is not bad for you in moderation. I know a lot of people who drink 1 or 2 cups a day. Probably not bad for you. It might even be good for you. If somebody said, hey Vin, we're going out today, let's have 10 cups of coffee. We'll have energy all day. The caffeine will get us and everything. I'd probably have a heart attack, because I should not be drinking that much coffee. Would you then want to stop the coffee business from being around because some people drink too much and it puts a strain on their hearts and this and that? Same kind of thing with Kratom. That could be with probably a lot of things in life. Dare I say, everything in moderation really is one of the more potent, reliable terms to think in your head. Meaning, anything that you do too much of, probably I haven't had a Big Mac in like a year, but probably if I went and had a Big Mac because I was just feeling it, well, that's not going to clog my arteries anymore. If I went back to having a Big Mac twice a week for the next 52 weeks, then I might be seeing my cardiologist again. So my rambling point there is that Kratom's not a bad thing if you get it, and it's, I'm not going to say it should be regulated, although there should be checks and balances on what you're getting. But for instance, I used to get it from reliable people that told me how good it was from online places that I liked, that I mentioned in my first videos and everything. But nowadays, I get it from Super Speciosa, which I'm not sure how to say that totally. But I get it now because this company reliably tests everything, and they make sure that it's not adulterated with dirt and sand and bugs and whatever other stuff could be on those trees in Indonesia, that the leaves are being taken off, dried, and processed and sent to America in big giant bundles of leaves, and then it's made into powder. They test it, they label their bags. I feel more secure about that. I've mentioned in previous videos, the reason I want to buy it from a reliable place, which I'll also mention, very fair, normal prices to me. And I've been on like dozens of websites trying to see which places have different things. And their prices are normal, and I can trust the quality of it. But the flip side of that is you don't want to buy it in a bodega, you don't want to buy it in a gas station, you don't want to buy it online from somebody you don't know about that maybe doesn't test it and use it properly and sell it properly, excuse me, because that might be a crappy version of it that's adulterated and not as potent. I read a recent article, I believe a legitimate article, about how a lot of supplements that come from China that are sold on Amazon are bootleg versions of those supplements. So you really have to be careful, do your research. I would say one of the things about Super Speciosa is they have they're not sample packs, but they have small packs if somebody's thinking of trying it. So here we got a green, a red, a white. Here's another thing that I tend to, I maybe mentioned once before, but I take it from the bags and I put them in these little, I'm trying to think what the name is, but these are like $8 a piece, these sealed containers, thermos, they're made by Thermos, the famous water carrying thermos jugs. And what I do is I write on it, this was a Domino name of one of their strands that they sold one time. Occasionally, I'm not big, I like to take the powders, put it in my orange juice, but occasionally I might take these capsules, which are an extract, it's a little stronger blend of Kratom. You can't make it super strong, but there's like a capsule here could be as good as 2 teaspoons of this, for instance. So if I'm really in pain, I might come home at 4 o'clock from a part-time job, and I might take one of these because I'm going to, lay around and watch the Yankee game, So basically, my update is I'm still alive 8 years later from my first video. I might look older and different. I'm kind of waiting until I can get my hair long enough for a ponytail. Kratom's not as bad as people want to make it out to be. I won't go off other than a quick sentence or two that, yeah, pharmaceutical companies probably don't like it. I didn't like Vioxx, I didn't like Celebrex, I didn't like Nabumetone, I don't like taking 8 Motrin because the doctor won't give you a Percocet, which is probably bad besides. So nowadays they say, oh, why don't you just take 8 Motrin? It's like, you know what? I take this nice leaf powder and it makes me it helps me get through the day. I'm going to leave this open to comments. So I hope everybody's well, and I hope people who have arthritis, fibromyalgia, inflammatory aches and pains, or whatever they call them, in whatever version, if you want to try Kratom, step in slowly, try a little bit. In my first couple of videos, I talk about how I would try it and how I felt the first couple of times I took it. It didn't make me loopy or crazy or anything. I might naturally be that way, but it took away the subtle kind of pain that I have in there. I've had a toothache a few years ago, and I thought, oh, let me take some Kratom because I have a toothache. It doesn't always help with nerve kind of pains, but it helps with the kind of overall inflammatory pains that I have in my body. So if anybody looks at this and wonders about Kratom, if you do it and use it properly, it's a wonderful thing. Probably save you a lot of money at the pharmacy and everything, and just buy a good quality one. If you find other places that have good quality, more power to you. I like my place the last few years. Makes me feel secure. So I just wish everybody would be happy and be well. Bye.